The story of how the MK and DC universes come together could not be told without the cutscenes. There's so much mythology that's being dealt with in terms of what happened on each universe and when and how that caused these universes to be brought together. Also to see how the characters interact, not only the DC characters, which have their own rich history, as well as the MK characters, and then what happens to them when they're thrown in these situations and seeing things they've never seen before. When you have Sub-Zero show up in the Batcave for the first time, it really is kind of something, because clearly this is not something he's ever experienced, nor would the fans have ever expected to see. And it makes for some very interesting storytelling.
Your world is invading mine, affecting everything and everyone in it.
Every production starts with a script. You start with something that was written, thought out, figure out what the licensor wants, what the game team wants, and what we're able to do. Dominic worked with John Vogel on the game team to kind of flesh out the ideas in the story and to get marching orders for cinematics of what we need to do to work tightly with the game team.
My role is to basically come up with a storyline that will describe the events that are happening within the game.
Welcome, Sub-Zero, to the Netherrealm.
Quan Chi! There were rumors that the Elder Gods had punished you. I see the rumors were true.
Why the two universes have come together and how these characters can interact with each other and why they're fighting with each other. After me and the other guys finished writing the script, we gave it to the cinematics guys. And we kind of looked over the script again and made it a much more compact and powerful script.
My contribution was the format that the story is told in. I wanted it to be in chapters because the player has to learn that character while he's playing it, and so we wanted to keep him with a familiar character for several fights and then move on to another character. The cutscenes set up all the fights and makes the player feel like he's actually involved and participating in the story.
We work closely with the game team. We try to take all their concerns into consideration and make sure that all those elements are met in the actual storytelling.
The storyboards really are the tool that we use to work with the game team to establish what the vision for the project is going to be. Vince Proce's storyboards were really critical in the early stages, sort of creating the mood of what we were trying to go for in terms of the overall tone of the game.
There's a lot of detail that you can flesh out through the storyboards.
It's the first visual communication that we have with them to say, based on your script, this is what we're thinking about doing. Is this a direction that you want to go in? Vince's boards are very evocative of the overall mood we were trying to obtain for the cinemas in the game, and establishing the tension as these two universes are colliding with each other. Yes. Between the storyboards and the motion capture stage is where we do our 3D animatics, where we take the storyboards and come up with basically a movie of the movie.
This is the end, Shang Tsung. I will finish you!
Raiden, stop! Shang Tsung is not the enemy this time.
Step aside, Liu Kang!
No! I will not let you kill him!
Then you have turned your back on Earthrealm, broken your vow, and betrayed me!
Storyboards really get you about 50 to 60% of where you need to be to creating your final film. But until you actually have characters in a space, cameras that are working in a 3D environment, it's almost impossible to tell exactly what you need to have.
I don't have time for this.
Take the time.
For this game, we took a different approach in terms of casting for people to play the characters in our game.
In this production, we generated 120 minutes of content. A crucial part of that was to make sure that we hired really good actors that could learn the lines, execute, act, and be those characters. We actually had casting calls. We brought guys in, they had to be that character.
Because of the nature of this project and the secrecy with which the entire concept of the project was being maintained, The actors, when they were auditioning, had no idea what they were auditioning for.
We need prototypical superhero, but no one knows where he is.
We found an incredible guy to play Joker. We were really worried about Joker, but we found a guy named Circus, who was amazing. And it's funny that his name is Circus and he's playing a clown.
Circus Shaleski. You know, I'm so sorry about the last time, running away and all. But you'll be happy to know it won't happen again.
As soon as we walked in, it was like, there's the Joker.
The actual professional actors really brought it to another level that we weren't able to achieve before.
Then we went to motion capture, which is the process of getting all of our actors onto the stage with the suits they have to wear with the markers so that we can record all of that data and then give it to our animators to work with.
When we go to the motion capture studio and we broadcast the 3D animatics, the actors basically look at that, figure out the timing, figure out the positions where they need to stand, and then we have the real recorded audio from the actors out in California where we recorded the audio.
Perfect. Let's get this to Luther. The hell with Bobby!
So the actors know how to time their communication with each other, they know how to time their gestures, time their movements, and then after that we start capturing.
It was incredible having some real actors this time around for motion capture. In past games, it's been me and Carlos. We were the actors.
Once we have all of the data in for motion capture, and we have all of our performances, we then give all that raw data to our layout artists who are experienced in placing cameras and doing cinematography and editing, and they start pulling all that motion together and trying to match that animatic that we've created. And that process is not simply a cut and paste process. You know, for example, we have a wonderful actor who played the Joker in our game. And once he came into the audition and he nailed it, and we actually got to see what he could do, a lot of these shots we were planning on having very impactful close-ups of a character. It was clear that his physical performance was just so interesting that to be on a close-up, we'd miss out on 80% of what he was bringing to the equation. So that was all changed in the layout phase.
I don't know what Baraka's doing in Earthrealm, but it's suspicious.
Once we go through the layout phase, the next portion would be to take that raw motion capture data and hand it off to our animators. A big part of what the animation process is in this game is creating these superhero aspects to the characters that we can't possibly hope to capture on stage. You know, our actors don't fly, they don't deliver punches that send people flying 40 feet across rooms. And all that stuff has to be created by our animators and made believable by them. We really rely on that group of professionals to come up with those aspects, to give the comic book feel to this that we need to have in order for it to be believable and for all of our fans.
Some of my favorite things about the MK cinemas were definitely the special effects that we got to put in. One of the biggest special effects cinemas was when Raiden appears at the space station, right, with Batman and Liu Kang. And as you can see, it's just large and powerful explosions, TV monitors exploding, a lot of lightning and whatnot going on. A lot of hard work went into creating every single effect, whether it was concepted from DC or internally. I hope it came across as something really spectacular in our cinemas.
One of the key moments in the cinematic scenes is when Liu Kang confronts Scorpion. And that's one of the first times that you actually see a transformation, a swapping of characters, so to speak, where the mixture of the Mortal Kombat and the DC universes together. So that scene was a really important one because it was one of the first times that the players is going to see an actual swapping of the characters and what is Liu Kang's reaction going to be when he first encounters the Flash.
What happened? I feel so strange. I have seen this trick before.
I don't think that the story could be told without the cutscenes. There's an interaction between the characters There's a lot of details that have to be told that you can't do in the context of a fighting game, just one-on-one, two people fighting. So there has to be moments where you tell the narrative of the story, and we do that fully in our cutscenes for the game. It's absolute necessity in telling the story for our game.
I think the cinematics do a really, really good job of sort of showing people who the characters are, that they're actually, you know, people with personalities and depth to them. I think the cinematics group has done a great job of playing out the story that we put together.
I'm very happy with all the work that everybody's put into the cinemas for MK versus DC. I think we've got something that's going to be a lot of fun for the fans, and I hope that they are able to enjoy the story as well as kicking each other around as much as they do during the fighting mode of the game.
Yeah, anybody that knows MK knows the fans really like MK. So we really feel a lot of pressure to make sure we maintain the license integrity and the designer's integrity, because there's nothing worse than disappointing an MK fan. It could be brutal. It could be a fatality.